Hey everybody, Frank Finance here. Hope you're having a wonderful day. DIDI Global is back in the news. They trade under ticker symbol DIDIY. Previously, when they were trading New York Stock Exchange, they were trading under ticker symbol DIDI. They delisted a little bit back earlier in the summer, around June timeframe, and it had been almost a year, and it's still been a year since they've basically had their app taken out of the Chinese marketplace, and no new users have been able to sign up since. Their IPO happened at that roughly around the same time this past July, about a year ago from now. They IPO'd around $4.4 billion. And today it was announced that they would be fined about $1.2 billion in violation of the China cybersecurity laws there. And so that's kind of the conclusion of the whole ordeal. However, not so much, since I said that they're still banned from the Chinese marketplace. So new users can't download the app. If you already have it, you can still use it. I've talked about this before. It does pose a serious problem for the app from a growth perspective, and it introduces competitors and gives them time to catch up. Now, it's been way long and way past the time period in which I thought that this would occur. Thought this would all be wrapped up, and they did say the probe ended in December. However, they just gave the fine amount, and they still haven't, really opened the app back up. The real question here is it shortly after that they're going to be putting the app back on the marketplace? Is DIDI Global an investment right now? Right now, I'm still holding on to my shares. I've had about $2,000 in there. I'm down to about 700 left. And I don't really plan to sell this one. I really do think it's an interesting thing for me to watch, and it's a relatively small amount of money to just see what happens. And not necessarily because of, I think it has some great upside, more so because I'm really curious as to what happens to the shares, moving forward, right? I really kind of want to understand practically what could happen to a stock when China does whatever China does, right? It may sound uninformed, it may sound kind of strange, but it is kind of an experience that I want to have, and it's a relatively small amount of money I really don't care about at this point. So in all this to be said is the thing that we need for DIDI Global is to then be basically unbanned from the Chinese App Store, and I think that would help. The problem is now that they're trading OTC, there's really not any, you don't really have the scrutiny in which you would see under folks who are filing, their SEC filings under the New York Stock Exchange or the NASDAQ. So there's definitely concern on my part. It is a Chinese company, and now they're trading their ADRs in the OTC market. So it's just a really interesting case study that I'm going to keep paying attention to. It is a very large company, had a tremendous market share, nearly 90% of the ride-sharing business in China, which is just amazing to have that much strong of a foothold. That's probably why the Chinese government is treating them so poorly, is because they don't like companies to have that much power, that they could just do whatever they want, not listen to the government. So the way they kind of got around that is they just basically ban them away from the store, and they can't access new customers, and it may drive drivers as well as users off the platform. There's really been no data to come out since that has really proven that has occurred. We saw some slight indications, I think, about 3 or 4 months after that, that slip had started to occur. But virtually, there's no information coming out of China regarding the market share of DIDI versus the competitors up to this point. I have not seen any of that. So again, not a ton of information, and not a ton of like, oh my God, new revelations with this information. But it is definitely something I'm going to pay attention, and I'll give updates here periodically as things actually matter. And I think this event matters. Another 2 things that happened with this was they fined, well, I guess it's one thing, is they fined 2 of the executives $1 million a piece for, I guess, having something to do with the decision to move forward with the IPO. I think positive-wise, I think there's not really a lot of positive spins out of any of this. They got the $4.4 billion fine, or sorry, $4.4 billion in the IPO. They got a $1.2 billion fine, and they lost probably anywhere from probably 15 to 30% of their market share, which is a heck of a lot more revenue than what they got in the IPO. So it's a net loss for them. Also for investors, it's a loss as well. So it's really hard to find any positive here. Other than that, now that the fine is over, you could see them put them back in the market, in the App Store. So we'll see what happens here moving forward, and I'll keep you updated. If you like this type of content, please consider subscribing. I do videos on personal finance, investing, and stock analysis. My name is Frank Finance.